you knew about this remake back in 2019, and I was just wondering, what was it like for you to get that word from Sam Raimi, and to also personally maybe like sit on this information while everybody else didn't know about this kind of little bit of this nugget of horror awesomeness that you got.
Yeah, look, it was a great moment for me in terms of the guys wanting me, because the way it kind of works is they talk to me about what I would do with that world, and what, so I got some time to figure that out, from our first conversations until the point that I pitched the guys kind of a story from beginning to end, and then we all agreed that it was something we wanted to make, and it was time to set about writing the screenplay. And I'm trying to remember when the announcement was. I feel like it was maybe in the summer of 2019, or was it 2020? It
2020.
was 2020. So even at that point, I also would have finished a couple of drafts of the screenplay, because 2019 was about, figuring it out, but also as a filmmaker, you're working on many things, so you're kind of, on and off. Evil Dead is like a part-time job at that point in time. But then once we crossed the line and I started to write in early 2020, and having got through the script writing process, it was really, once that was done, I was hopeful that the news would kind of break, but it was still a little bit of time before we got to go and shoot it. And then obviously post-production and waiting for our release date so that we could bring it into the world. So there's been a lot of junctions on the journey of this movie.
It's kind of insane. I think a lot of people don't understand is like how much of a technical like kind of mountain you have to climb when you do a horror film. And so when you approach something that's so specific, it needs to hit all these certain points, the tension that you build in the film, how was it for you to kind of go in during the day and just be like, all right, today we're gonna, was it one step at a time, or are you one of those, you can see the whole thing in one go? Are you one of those like savants?
Yeah, definitely not a savant, but I'm a big fan of preparation. Like, I put a lot of work into refining the screenplay, because the screenplay is ultimately that document that guides both me and then the wonderful craftspeople that I work with that help me realize the vision for the movie. So from that point of view, the screenplay was really refined, even down to discussions, not discussions, but description of sound and how sound worked inside the movie, all organically woven into the experience. I wanted people to read the script and go, oh my God, I know what this movie is. And that kind of worked in my benefit. But then I also storyboarded the movie from beginning to end. So it was extremely detailed planning. Now, you don't always use every one of those storyboards, but they're there as a great reference and kind of guide. But because of all the practical effects in the movie and the amount of stunts and action that we also have, we had to plan things really, really seriously then. So that script and those storyboards were so important to actually be able to realize the ideas and to put all those kind of crazy blood-drenched set pieces on screen.
Were there any days when you're doing this kind of crazy scene with your actors that you're like, I kind of feel bad for them? Like, did you have any moment where
Every
you're like,
day, every day. No, it's yeah, there are tough moments. I think the physical stuff the actors really enjoyed, because there was a lot of preparation, and also you get to stay fit and you're really engaged and you're really active when you're making the movie. But the blood is a real challenging one for everybody, because the blood is so sticky. So when you're prepped and dressed in that blood and then you're brought on set, you can't even sit down, because if you sit down, you're going to stick to the chair and they're going to have to reset your costume. So like, waiting around in that blood was one of the things that I always would try and avoid for my cast as much as I could. But film sets are fluid things. So you might have an actor ready, you've had a technical issue where you've fallen 45 minutes behind, and they've got to stand with their arms out wide so their arms don't actually stick to their body. And that's something I always felt sorry for them for. But revenge was got on me when we wrapped the shoot and I got covered in buckets of blood. So I got to feel their pain a little bit.